I have the great pleasure to introduce to you the host of this masterclass. Like in the last year, we are very happy to have here a famous critic from Britain, living in Switzerland now, and a great expert of author cinema. He has written many books about many great authors, Peter Carey.
Thank you, and welcome everyone to this Zurich Festival Masterclass. There's no doubt that in the last 30 to 40 years, Iranian cinema has really excelled virtually all filmmaking in the Middle East. There's a consistency about it which has revealed to us many, many major directors, whether it's Abbas Kiarostami, Dariush Merjwi, Jafar Panahi, Amer Nadiri, the list goes on. But I think none of them has analyzed contemporary society so intensely and so intelligently as our guest this afternoon, Asghar Farhadi. So Asghar, your career, I think, really took off. Although you began making feature films in 2000, your career took off with the winning of the Silver Bear in Berlin in 2009 for About Ellie. And then, of course, last year, you had this extraordinary procession of awards, starting with the Golden Bear in Berlin and ending with the Oscar for Best Foreign Film in Hollywood. And that makes us all curious to know how you came to be a filmmaker. I think you worked in theatre and television to start with. Could you tell us how you began and how you fulfilled your ambition to be a filmmaker?
I prefer speaking my language, فارسی. سلام میکنم به همه و خوشحالم که توی این جمع هستم امروز.
Say hello to everybody, and I'm happy to have you all here.
خیلی سخته که بگم من چگونه فیلمساز شدم.
It's hard for me to say how I started my work.
بعضی موقع آدم نمیدونه که چرا توی این مسیر قرار میگیره.
You don't know sometimes how you start.
ولی یه حدسایی میزنم.
I can just guess.
من 13 سالم بود که اولین فیلم کوتاهم رو شروع کردم.
I started with age of 13 when I did the first film.
یه فیلم کوتاه 10 دقیقه‌ای ساختم.
Short film of 10 minutes.
و یادم اون موقع به عنوان جوان‌ترین فیلمساز یه جایزه هم بهم دادن، یعنی اولین جایزه‌مو 13 سالگی گرفتم.
And I got a Grammy for that film.
به خاطر که جوان
for youngsters. Yeah, for you.
نه به خاطر خود فیلم.
Not because of the film, because of
my age.
Yeah.
و هر سال یه دونه فیلم کوتاه ساختم.
And every year I made a short film.
و بعد وارد دانشگاه شدم، رشته تئاتر.
And then I started university and studied theater.
این یکی از بزرگترین اتفاقات زندگی من بود.
This was one of my biggest happening in my life.
I think there's a problem with microphone.
Is it mine?
I don't know. Okay. No, it's I think yours.
It's mine.
So.
It's mine. Okay.
Give you another one.
Okay. It's a different one.
Yeah. That's
من موقعی که تئاتر قبول شدم خیلی ناراحت شدم و فکر کردم که کاشکی همون رشته سینما میتونستم بخونم توی دانشگاه.
When I was accepted at theater, I wasn't happy, and I thought it would have been better if I was starting at the cinema.
ولی وقتی که مشغول در واقع خوندن تئاتر شدم فهمیدم که چقدر شانس بزرگی بوده، چون من با چیزی به اسم درام آشنا شدم.
But when I studied theater, I actually realized how lucky I was to have started this way, because I did drama and I learned drama.
و بعد من به عنوان نویسنده فعالیت کردم در رادیو و تلویزیون و بعد اومدم سینما.
And I started as a writer and filmmaker, and I came to the cinema.
I came in theater to من از تئاتر به عنوان نویسنده اومدم تو رادیو، تلویزیون و بعد اومدم سینما. با نوشتن اومدم.
Okay, I started with writing to the radio, theater, and then cinema, filmmaking.
And
so I can't say you how چجوری اتفاق افتاد این، ولی این حدسایی که من میزنم که فکر میکنم که همون دوره کودکی باعث شد که من بیام به این سمت.
Who were the filmmakers who you admired when you were first starting out? We can guess maybe, but I know you like De Sica and Antonioni.
That time in my country was a big war between Iran and Iraq, and TV showed to people always movies about war. But that time was very hard for finding a good movie. And I remember when I was 16, 17, I watched De Sica's movie.
Bicycle Thief.
And it's my favorite movie. And Kurosawa. When I came to university, I watched Bergman movie, and after that Kieslowski's movie, and Three Colors. But that time for me, Italian director, Fellini, De Sica, Antonioni, I was surprised by them. Maybe because them I came to this way.
Because when the girl disappears in Ellie, a little bit reminded me of L'Avventura. In that way.
Yeah, but you know, that I didn't watch this movie before.
But I mean, you were attracted by that kind
it's
of
funny
theme.
Because I watched all his movies, but this one I didn't see. And during shooting, one of my crew told me, "Did you see that movie from Antoni?" I said no, and he said, "Doesn't matter." And after that, I asked him, "Why you told this to me?" Because he was nervous, and after that I found, this subject is very similar to that one.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, and I said to myself, what can I do? I watch this movie or not? If I watch and it will be very similar, I have to change this story, and it's very hard during shooting, mid of shooting. So I decided I don't watch this movie until after finishing movie, and I watched that movie, and I love that movie. And yeah, in subject and some things very similar is my honor, and I love his job.
You go from this wonderfully exhilarating image of Ellie, so happy, seeing in the kites of liberty and freedom, to this panic and disaster, someone almost dead. It must have been a very difficult sequence to shoot with the handheld cameras.
این آخرین صحنه‌ایه که ما الی رو می‌بینیم.
This is the last scene we see from Ellie.
و بعدش اون دیگه ناپدید میشه.
And then she disappears.
برای من همیشه آخرین تصویر کاراکترها توی فیلم خیلی مهمه.
And for me it's very important for the last view from the actor.
و فکر می‌کردم که این بعد از این لحظه الی خواهد مرد.
But after this I thought Ellie would die.
من به یه تصویر نیاز داشتم که این پیشبینی مرگ رو توش بشه احساس کرد. این مثل رها شدن از این فشارها و مشکلات.
And I decided then she was becoming free, and I wanted to show it as a nice scene, the way she was running
Because
across the water.
and suddenly she says, "I must go."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it means sometimes the audience ask me, did she kill herself? It's because this sentence, this dialogue, because she says, I have to go. We think she decides die. There's two ways, and so it was her last scene, and it's you feel very soon that there's a happen. اتفاقی به زودی میفته.
There's something going to happen.
Until here, the camera is like very classic, and when she disappears, camera goes on shoulder. From until end of last scene of this movie, that we see her body, you know, and after that again, the camera come on triangle, you know. So I don't know, we can talk about these clips, these shots, these scenes.
Well, maybe just the technique of it. I mean, you shot the scenes in the water, obviously, slightly different time than the...
Yeah, it's. I think for these three scenes, we worked more than 2 weeks, because in each time in near the sea has a color. At 10 o'clock, the color is green. 11 is blue, and you know, it's very difficult. It was very, very difficult. And when we went on the sea, and shooting on the sea was very difficult. But more difficult was acting. You know, that time they believe she disappeared, and she was. They were very nervous because of this. And 2 weeks they came to location, and because I told to them they were together, Ellie and other actors. And that time when we start shooting for this scene, I told to Ellie, Tarane, don't come to location from today. And she disappeared. And other crew, other actors, because 1 month, more than 1 month, every day they were together and talked together, but suddenly today she doesn't be there. And they believe she's not here, and after 2 weeks they were very nervous, really, and you know, I think for these scenes acting was very important. Children and...
Could they improvise? Did you allow them to improvise in the panic when they discovered them?
Yeah, but we had a lot of rehearsals before shooting, and improvise before shooting. When I start shooting, we don't go to improvise, and before shooting we have 2-3 months. For this movie, I think 3 months we had rehearsals like theater, and they could improvise. But when you start shooting, it's better we don't change anything, because for this kind of movie, if you change this puzzle here, it's influence or other things, other puzzles, you know. And I prefer when we go to shooting, just we do, and before shooting we decide about everything. قبل از این سکانس هم خیلی سر و صدا و صحبت زیاده و اینجا یه دفعه همه ساکت میشن.
Before this scene, it's very loud, and then it becomes very quiet.
اونجا دیالوگ های زیادی، صحبت های زیادی قبل از این صحنه میشه.
And there's a lot of talk before this scene.
و من اینجا نیاز به یه سکوت داشتم که تماشاگرم یه مقدار برگرده به عقب و یه فرصتی داشته باشه همه چیز رو مرور کنه دوباره.
And I needed silence that the audience would think more about the happening before, what was happening
and
before.
The camera work seems to link them. The camera work binds them together.
You know, sorry, sometimes. بعضی فارسی از یاد نمیشه.
No, no.
You know, when from first of this film, the mise en scène and the camera, all this crew are together, and step by step, when we go to end, they are separated from each other, and camera is with him, and after that with other. But in first part of this movie, until mid of movie, always these people are together in same shot. But right now, he's alone, and with him we arrive to other person, and you know, it's a team. It's an important team in this film, because in the first they are together, they are in the same situation, and in the end, each of them goes to his way, her ways.
And in general, how do you develop an idea for a film? How did the idea about Ellie come to you? Was it based on a novel, or was it an original screenplay?
Honestly, I don't know really. Sometimes in the morning you wake up and you think, oh, I have an image in my mind, and oh, what's this image? Or why this image comes to my mind, and how? And you ask about this image. But I suggest, I'm not sure, I suggest, this film comes from my experience during when I was in university in Tehran. Several my friends, we were together that time, and we went to north of Iran together that time, and we had not like this experience, but I loved this situation. People going to a vacation somewhere, and after that, always the first of trip and end of trip is very different. First of trip, everybody are very happy, and end of trip, you know, it's very different. So I liked this subject, and I work on this, and but I'm not sure really. This maybe somebody told me his experience, his memory about this. Yeah.
But how long would you take to do a screenplay like that? How?
For this movie, I think it's about 8 months, just writing. Mm-hmm. And before that, when I have an idea or image in my mind, or a simple story, I just think. Mm. And sometimes I write something, and when I start writing, it's very serious time from morning until night, and for this movie was 8 months, about 8 months.
The result is that when you start shooting, it's very well worked out. The dialogue is all there, everything is in place.
I prefer when I want to start filming, the script is done. I don't want during shooting to change anything. Yeah. It's like orchestra, you know. Before coming on stage, they have rehearsals, yeah. But when they are on stage, they just do. They yes. They don't have time for changing something. Yes. It's a group teamwork.
Yes. Ingmar Bergman said exactly the same thing. It worked like that too. I noticed one of the actors there is the main actor in A Separation. He believes the younger. Am I right? The father of Esha.
Peyman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about how you found him and why you work with him?
Yeah, in About Eli, it's first time he's in film. He's an actor. He was my neighbor. Yeah, and they invite me. I didn't know him, and he invited me to a party to his home. And for first time, I met him. And that night, I told him I will write a story. I don't know what's this story, but I'm sure you will be there. And his real name is Peyman, and in this film is Peyman again. You know, and this first one I choose for this movie because when I met him, I recognized, oh, he's an actor. And for A Separation, he came to A Separation because you know, we had very good experience together for about Eli, and I think he's very perfect because his acting is very realistic. If you know my language, you can understand this very well, because sometimes he's saying dialogue, but it doesn't look, I'm right this, and after that he's telling. You think all of this dialogue is improvised, and it's very good. I don't want somebody says to me, oh, you have very good dialogues. It's not good. If people say to me, oh, all of this is improvised, I'm very happy by this. It's better.
I think most people here this afternoon have seen A Separation, so we can perhaps move on to that film, which starts with a divorce hearing in Iran. This actor has a very, not unsympathetic part, but he has a very difficult part because his personality is so closed. He can't reveal himself. He holds himself in all the time, finds himself difficult to express emotion to his daughter, for example, and so on. So right from the beginning, it's a film about somehow enclosed emotion in a way. And I'm going to show the clip of the opening scene in the divorce hearing. Could you tell us how that works in Iran? You have a judge or someone, someone who hears both sides and then decides if a divorce will go through or not.
No, I was telling a story to my friends, 5 years, and I had an interview in France, in radio, and somebody asked me, can they, in Iran, is there any divorce? And I was surprised, and I said to her, in my country, unfortunately, the rate of divorce is more than every country in the world. And it's very simple. Simple, it is not very hard. If man and woman they agree for divorce, it is just 2 hours you can do this. If not, it's very hard. So it's like France, but I don't know about here. It's like France, there's a judge, and they can go to judge, and judge decide. If they agree together, there's no problem. And judge is the judge role is not important.
But they don't take a lawyer. Each of them, in many countries, each side takes a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
they
obviously not.
Yeah, like everywhere, lawyers are very expensive in Iran.
Yeah.
And they prefer don't go to lawyer because first you go to lawyer, any lawyer is here? When you go to lawyer first, they say, so I help you, and what's the problem? And you say your problem is very simple problem, and then he says, so we go from this side to this problem, and after 1 hour you think, oh, it's a very big problem in your life.
Yeah,
you know, in Iran they prefer don't go to lawyer, and it's like other country. But what's the problem? If a man wants divorce with his wife, it's very simple. But if a woman wants divorce, it's very hard for her. It's not fair. It's a big problem, and a lot of people are trying for change this situation.
Yes.
You know, but if is agreement between them, it's very simple.
Well, this opening scene we're going to see actually presents that argument very forcefully, that the woman has to argue all the time, very strongly, her side, otherwise it would go to the man. So it's a good sequence to start A Separation because it shows the 2 principal characters right away.
Yeah, and this scene, the camera is, you look the scene as a judge, you know, judge position.
Subjective. Yes.
Subjective.
Yes.
And I invite audience to be judge. They have judge during movie by this mise en scène, by this situation of camera, you know. You can see this in this scene.
Am I right in thinking your own daughter played in that film? Yeah. Was that, how old was she at the time?
That time was 11, and now she's 14, about 14.
She's very good. I mean, it's as though she's been a child actor like Jodie Foster for years.
Yeah, I remember Jodie Foster in Golden Globe told me, with this daughter in the film, she was very good, and I said to her, she's my daughter. And, and you say about
really?
Jodie Foster,
yes,
right?
That's right. In Taxi Driver. There are so many themes in A Separation. You really managed to get in a lot of themes. One of them that's extremely interesting, I think, is the importance of religion and how the nanny who comes to look, or the person who comes to look after the father who is ill, she is clearly a very religious person, and she needs to get permission before she does anything, really, to be reassured that it's religiously correct. Now, that seems to be something which is in transition in Iran. I mean, that there are women who are wearing the black robe, and then there are others who are not. So, I mean, that was an interesting theme, I think, that you wanted to tackle.
این از اون یکم راجع به این صحنه اول یه توضیحاتی بدم ممکن جالب باشه براشون.
I want to explain a little bit about this scene now.
و بعدش راجع به این سوال.
And then about your question.
من توی این فیلم تصمیم گرفتم که در همون صحنه اول سوال اصلی فیلم رو مطرح کنم.
I try to, at the beginning of the scene, I want to do the question to start at the, beginning of the film.
و تمام فیلم در واقع پاسخیه به این صحنه اول.
And the whole film is the answer key to this question.
یه سوالی در واقع اون قاضی میپرسه که این سوال جواب داده نمیشه. میگه چه شرایطی وجود داره که در واقع نمیخوای که اینجا زندگی کنی با دخترت، و کل فیلم پاسخ به این سوال.
And the judge asks, why don't you want to stay, with your husband and your child? And the rest of the movie gives the answer to this question.
این صحنه به این دلیل برام در واقع صحنه مهمیه.
And this is why it's so important to me, this first scene.
That's why you put it ahead of the credits.
یعنی این یه جوری قبل از تیتراژ در واقع این فیلم قرار داره. یعنی فیلم از جایی تازه در واقع آغاز میشه که این صحنه تموم میشه.
This is like it's before actually the movie starts.
Yeah, like a prologue.
Prologue,
و راجع به این تم‌هایی که گفتین بستگی داره که از چه زاویه‌ای می‌خواید این فیلم رو نگاه کنید.
And about these topics that we are talking about, it depends how you look at it, from what angle you're looking at it.
ممکنه یک نفر باشه در مثلا کوبا، اصلا براش مهم نیست که راجع به موقعیت یک کشور دیگه چیزی بدونه. اون هم وقتی این فیلم رو ببینه نباید ارتباطش ناقص باشه و از دست بده فیلم رو. اونم باید ارتباط برقرار کنه با فیلم.
It could be somebody also from Cuba watching this film and also making connection to this film.
به خاطر همین اگر شما میتونید از زاویه اخلاق به این فیلم نگاه کنید.
And so if you can just look at it from the the moral side.
میتونید از زاویه روانشناسی به فیلم نگاه کنید.
From the angle of psychology.
میتونید از زاویه سیاست یا از زاویه اجتماعی نگاه کنید.
Also about the social and also political. You can look at it the way you want to.
به شما مربوط میشه که از چه زاویه‌ای می‌خواید که این فیلم رو ببینید.
So it's the viewer who is taking over the role.
ولی اگر در واقع ممکنه یه عده‌ای هم بخوان که فقط از زاویه این که ببینن که تو اون کشور چه اتفاقی میفته فیلم رو ببینن.
And some people just look at it to see what's happening right now in Iran.
Yes.
برای من اون زاویه‌های قبلی بهتره، چون اون چیزایی که میخواین راجع به ایران بدونید از توی اینترنت و توی پریزم میتونید پیدا کنید.
And for me the previous angles are more important because the situation in Iran, you can also look it up in Google.
That's right. And the second clip we're going to show is a similar situation. It's the quarrel in the magistrate's office. I guess you would call him a magistrate when they come to discuss, during the second half of the film, they are called before a magistrate in a room who's clearly overworked and very harassed, but not bad. But would you call him a magistrate? Is that the word? Not quite a judge, but he's sitting in this small room.
No, it's not. در واقع اونجا اتاق قاضی نیست.
Oh, it's not the courtroom actually.
No, it's more of a private room, but he calls people in and out, he listens to them, then he sends them out.
این اتفاقا اگر درست اجرا بشه این خیلی سیستم خوبیه ولی درست اجرا نمیشه. من توضیح میدم راجع بهش.
Okay, if it functions right, it's actually good.
Yes.
وقتی یک پرونده‌ای به دادگاه میره قبل از اینکه بره به دادگاه و قاضی روش نظر بده یه مرحله‌ای هست به نام بازپرسی.
Okay. There is a part before the judge it goes to the court.
Yes.
They're looking at the problem.
Yes.
قبل از اون در واقع یه عده‌ای هستن که آدم‌ها رو میگن بیان و ازشون تحقیقات میکنن، سوال میکنن.
And some people are working there and they question them.
Yes.
And و بعد می‌نویسن اینا رو ولی هیچ قضاوتی اینا نمی‌کنن. فقط پرونده رو میدن دست قاضی با اطلاعات بیشتر.
So it's like filling up a form. They write and they ask questions and they pass it on to the court, to the judge.
I see. Who then analyzes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So could we go to that clip? Do you mind? I'm only pushing ahead because I know people will have questions for you. I want them to have time to do that. So let's see the second clip because in a way it relates to this first one, I think. A different style.
Yeah, and just one thing I want to say, when you, not just about this film or from everywhere, every country, if you see a movie from India, from Iran, from US, Romania, it's not good. We think this image is from all this country. Nobody can explain the situation in each country by a movie. Because in Iran there is 70 million people. And nobody can say by my movie I explain you and I show you a very complete image from my country. No, there is a lot of people, very different classes, different mind, and it's image of part of my country, And about other films, not Iranian, other films, when you see this, you keep this in your mind. It's not image of big country, all country.
The gap between wealthy people and poor people. This man, on the one hand, has lost his job. He's been in and out of prison, creditors, whereas the main characters we know are quite well-off middle-class people. There's a lot of notes and money in the house and so on. They can afford to have somebody. Is that something which is a big issue at the moment for you?
این دعوای بین طبقات اجتماعی یه دعوایی که در خیلی از جاهای دنیا هنوز وجود داره.
This fight between the system, it's everywhere in many countries at the moment.
Between social classes.
Between different range of people, different classes.
Yeah.
Rich, poor.
و این جنگ در واقع جنگ بین عدالت و آزادیه. یک طبقه دنبال عدالتن و یک طبقه دنبال آزادی.
Some people are looking for freedom and some people for peace.
در واقع این جنگ پنهانیه، پیدا نیست این جنگ.
It's a hidden fight.
And what makes your films really great is your compassion. You're very compassionate towards your characters, and there aren't any rights or wrongs. There's any grey area, but you can support both of these characters, the husband and the husband of the woman who's.
Yeah, I can say in all my movies I don't have any character who you think I don't like him or her. In all my movies, everybody has right. It's like real life. We don't say You know, I said this sentence several times in my interviews. In classic tragedy, the war and fight is between good and bad. And when you are watching a movie or theater, before you, author, director, filmmaker, they decide about who is good, who is bad, and you just watch. There is no respect to you as an audience. And in modern tragedy, this war is between good and good. And you don't know if he win, you think, oh, it's not good. If other side win, it's, you know. And modern tragedy is between good, and we don't know right is with whom. And it's a very hard situation. I think all of people in these stories, they have right. And for example, on this scene, they like and they understand each other, but situation push them to fight. You know, because in this, for example, in this scene, that guy asked from the other guy, please forgive him.
That's a wonderful moment.
Yeah. Because they like each other, but situation push them to this war.
Was it Jean Renoir who said the tragedy of this life is that everyone has his reasons? You know, and I think that applies to that film. The final clip that I've chosen is towards the end when the woman feels unable to swear on the Quran. And this is not only important because it resolves the film, but also you see them in this very enclosed small room, and it's a moment of great intensity, I think. And you use the set extremely well, the way the camera goes in and out of the rooms, and like that.
Yeah, I can explain about this scene, and it's new to explain. During movie, they go to court to for solve this problem, and they say about their problem to judge, and but in the end, nothing, you know, didn't do anything. They start talking together like 100 years ago in a small room, and they solve this problem without judge, without this system. It means this system doesn't work. You know? So, because it's very important for me. It's in خیلی شیوه سنتیه, tradition.
This is very traditional
Yes,
scene.
okay.
Yeah, and they understand each other, and they help to each other again, and they look to each other very kind. You know.
We have 2 microphones in the house, I believe, and if you could put your hand up if you want to ask a question, and then when I choose you, if you could wait for the mic, then you will be recorded for posterity, and we'll all be able to hear this. This gent in the middle, the glasses.
Once I was in Iran, I was discussing with the people about this film, and some were saying that the father in this film is a symbol of the society of Iran, which is trapped in the cultural situation, cultural poverty, the culture which all the time lie to each other. And there is no cure actually for this father, there is no cure for this society. And all the people are waiting for this society to be died, actually. And I just wanted to ask the question about Mr. Farhadi, what is his interpretation about this viewpoint?
Okay. So, Mike?
منم سلام میکنم به شما و همه ایرانی هایی که توی سالن هستن.
All the Iranian in the theater.
Should I translate it myself? Sorry? Should I? Okay.
I can say to you and other audience how you watch this movie and how you interpret this movie. It's up to you. But it's not a symbolic movie. It's
Sure. Yeah. Another question?
منم سلام عرض میکنم خدمت اصغر فرهادی عزیز. Thanks to you and your inspiration for all of us. A great honor. My question is, the whole movie, A Separation, is kind of a sadness, and you don't see any happiness through the whole movie. And my question is, was it on purpose?
Yeah, I don't know why it's like this. When I started writing and writing for theater, for TV, always I did like this because I think it's because my personality and something like this. I don't know, but I wish I change and one day I make it not like this movie, because when you watch this movie 1-2 times, but I watched this movie several times, and for me it's not good. Very sadness, but that was funny. But it's my reaction to my condition, my situation. You know, when this situation change, I will change. By this situation, that there is no way I have to make like this movie. You know. Yeah, it's very important question. Maybe, for me, maybe in the first time you see this image, you think it's very sad. But this kind of movie is not very sad, because after movie you will think and you will find answer, and after you finding answer, it will be, you feel very good feel. During watch the movie, you don't have good feel, and after that, when you find something in your mind, you find a good feel. Maybe I'm not sure about that.
And I think that the worldwide success of this film is due to the fact that when we see it, we don't think of Iran. We think of those human beings and those problems which are close to our own. It could be scenes from a marriage of Ingmar Bergman, for example. It's exactly the same kind of tensions. And between the daughter and the father, whether she should be loyal to the father or whether she should betray him because it's just to tell the truth. All of these things are universal. And I think that's the reason why it's been such a huge success.
Yeah, I think people everywhere, in every culture, in every country, every religion, are very similar together. But media and politics, they say, no, we are very different. This part are Muslim, this part are lying. No, emotional, love, and relation, family, it's very similar everywhere. I went to Cuba. After Oscar, first my trip was in Cuba, and me and my friend, we went to an old city in Havana, and we were looking for address, and we asked near the street, old woman was there, and my friend asked her, where is that place? And after that, she said that this you have to go to this way, and you are foreign, and why you are here? And we said to her, I'm filmmaker and a separation. And she said, oh, I watched this movie, and she explained about relationship between her and her daughter and her husband, and you know, in Cuba, in Havana, in a poor area, relationship is like in France, is like in Iran. And they just to brainwash. They brainwash us. You know, but we are very.
Another question?
Hi, I have a mic back here now. Hi, Asghar. It's very good to see you again. I interviewed you in Berlin a year and a half ago, whatever. congratulations on such wonderful films, of course. I was very happy to see that in the UK, About Ellie is being distributed now, as it probably didn't have a big distribution when it first was made, so I'm glad about that. Could you say something about the themes of your next film? And you are making it with, I gather, with Bernice Bejo and Taha Rahim, and I wonder, could you say something about working with established actors after having so much success with non-professional actors and Iranian actors, and how you're coming to that challenge? And I gather it's shooting in October in Paris. It'd be great if you could confirm that.
I wished anybody asked this question, but you ask this because I prefer don't say anything about my new project, and it's a little soon. Next year we can talk about this movie. But I can say, it's more than 2 months we are in rehearsals, and each week we have 2-3 meet, and we have rehearsals with Bernice and Taha Rahim and Ali Musaffa. He's very good Iranian actor, and I didn't change my style. I'm working like before in France with actors, it's a big challenge because language. And there is, it's difficult, but I'm trying for finding a good way for solve this problem. Right now, 2-3 weeks before shooting, I have very good feeling, and because I have very good crew, and part of crew are Iranian, and part of them are my DOP and my son, and my one of my main actors are Iranian, and other part are French and Italian. So we have to wait until next year.
So I've got the mic. I will ask the question first in Persian, and then I try to translate it to English. سلام میکنم خدمت آقای فرهادی. خیلی خوشحالم که میبینمتون تو زوریخ. من خیلی جاها توی مقاله‌های مختلف توی روزنامه یا سایت‌های مختلف میخونم که 3 فیلم اصلی که در موردش خیلی صحبت میشه درباره الی، جدایی و چهارشنبه سوری، خیلی وقتا از این به عنوان سگانه اصغر فرهادی نام برده میشه. شما این 3 فیلم رو به هم ربط داده شده میبینید یا اینکه کاملا 3 فیلم جداه؟ چون برای من به عنوان یک بیننده میتونم یا حالت امضایی از شما توی هر 3 فیلم ببینم، یعنی وقتی این 3 فیلم رو میبینی میدونی که از یک سازنده است، ولی واقعا چقدر به هم ربط داره.
Could we have a brief translation of what he was saying?
He's asking if these 3 films are related to each other. You know, did you
2
have
films or 3? You said
3? Çarşamba Suri
Yeah.
and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's a trilogy, or it's is there any link?
So he wants to know if they're related, and he made the movie together. Yeah.
No, but when I start making Fireworks Wednesday, my 3rd movie, that time I didn't think after this movie I will make About Eli, and after About Eli a separation. For me, it's not a trilogy, but we can find something very similar and very same kind, same style with camera, with telling a story into this movie. But I think between all of my movie, from first Dancing in the Dust and Beautiful City and others, it's some themes is same. Judgment, true, moral things is in all of these movies. You can find, you know. But it's not. I did that time. I didn't decide. I want make trilogy, 3 film based on a same theme. No, that time, because I think about my next project, not after next. You know.
The lady in the front has been very patient. Do you want the mic?
Thank you very much. It is really nice to have you here in Zurich. I am Iranian-Swiss anthropologist. I studied anthropology and ethics. The main questions that I can see in your film is the questions related to morality. I think you try to construct a very sociological view of morality in all your films, based on these three these elementary structures: attachment to the family, rule of religions, and autonomy. And the member of all of the society or the people in your film, they try to have, each person has his own in particular view of morality. So, but morality is not individual. The question that I'm trying to find in your films, and as anthropologist, because I have done my work in the contemporary Iran and also in contemporary Iran, is what is collective social morality in your film or in this society?
میتونی فارسی آخرش من بگی؟
اون نرمی که از لحاظ اخلاقی همه به عنوان یک همه شخصیت‌های فیلم شما سعی می‌کنن اخلاقی که از نظر شخصی فکر می‌کنن درسته دنبالش برن، حالا چه بر اساس مذهب چه بر اساس اون دیدگاهی که دارن، ولی من فکر می‌کنم اخلاق مسئله فردی نیست، یک چیز مشترکی. سوالی که من همیشه دارم، یک نرم مشترک میتونیم ما توی فیلم‌های شما و یا تو جامعه معاصر ایران در نظر بگیریم.
No, it's my question, you know, in this movie and about Eli. What's the moral way? You know, we have to, if you believe God and you be religious, you can say based on my Sharia,
religious law.
Yeah, I go by this. If you know, you have to go other way. It's my question. In a society, who part of the society are religious, other part they are not. Other, you know, what's the main moral measure? So it's my question in this movie, and we have to find a measure for moral. خیلی سخته برام که به انگلیسی توضیح بدم، ولی میخوام بگم که اگر در یک جامعه‌ای یه بخشی از جامعه مذهبی باشن، یه بخشی بر اساس وجدان فردی و یه بخشی دیگه بر اساس وجدان جمعی عمل میکنن، اون بحث اخلاقی بر اساس کدوم یکی از اینهاست، از این مترو مقیاس ها؟
Yes, it's my question that in the society that some people develop their own morality based on religious law, or some people, can I say secular law, or some people have another source of their own morality. So I didn't want to give an answer to this question. So I try just to show what is the source of morality for in this type of people or this individual in my film.
Yeah, and I told it's also it's my question in this movie. That woman, she acted, she does based on religion, and another does based on قوانین مدنی,
social law, civil law.
Yeah, and which one is better? Which one works in this situation? It's my question. We have to think and we have to find.
We have time for just one more question.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to say something about your film. I'm really excited that you're here in Zurich because for me, Separation was the most modern film I saw last year. And that was what I wanted to say on the note of it being Iranian and talking Farsi. But what I really wanted to ask you was that what's striking in most of these scenes is that you shoot them in very closed-in areas. And I was wondering, how do you work with your cameraman? Because it feels a little bit like cinema verité. We are just there observing, and that's what makes these films so incredibly emotional. And how do you shoot? We heard that you improvise and you have your theatre background, of course, with the actors. But then when you're shooting and when you're preparing to shoot, how do you work with your cameraman to get this incredible, dense feeling in these very closed-in areas? Thank you.
Yeah. Every day before shooting, one day before shooting, I decided, so my camera is here and moves to other side. And tomorrow morning, before starting shoot, me and Mahmoud, my DOP, we talked together, and every day we sit together. We have to do like a documentary. There is not a camera, and we don't want. When audience are watching this movie, they feel, oh, there is a camera, and we are watching this movie through a camera, you know. So sometimes what was very difficult because you have a very good image and with good cadre frame, and there is a lot of harmony between colors, and always we said to ourselves, no, it's not documentary, we have to change. You know, and when camera is in your shoulder, it's very dangerous because you want to move everywhere, and I don't like this. There is in this movie there is no shot that camera move without any subject any character. If character goes to this way, camera goes, and most of time, always, camera follow people. Camera it's not first camera and after character. It's classic cinema. In this kind of movie, camera is after character and just follow them during the story. You know, and other things very important. I want. By camera, I don't make judgment by camera. If I take a close-up, very big shot, very like close-up from this character, and medium shot or full shot or long shot from this character, it means there's a difference, and there's a judgment by me, by camera between them. And camera is very fair between all characters. You can't say this camera is near to this character and far from that character. I tried for this style.
Do you find you have to take a scene like that last one many times?
Sometimes, yeah, like in last scene, that guy was in kitchen from night until morning. That guy, you know, and near morning, he dead. But sometimes no, 2-3 shots. I don't like a lot of shots because you have good picture, good image, but you don't have good feel, and you lose a lot of things.
Well, Asghar, time has flown by. You've been a wonderful guest, and you've inspired, I think, everyone here with your films. We wish you the best of luck with the new film.
Thank you.
We'll come back to Zurich next year with it, and we'll have the same discussion, and you'll be able to tell us about it.
Thank you, and I want to thank my friend Fariba. I asked her, please come with me. Maybe sometime I need to ask you a word, and she comes. Thank you, and my friend Faribors. I was during my pre-production and very busy. And several months ago, he said to me, "You have to come to Zurich." And at that time, I said, "Okay, I will come." And 2-3 weeks ago, he called me and he said, "You said me and you promised me you have to come." Yeah, and we have to thank to Faribors. I'm here because he tried and he pushed me. Thank you. Thank you.